tell that story. You told it in Canton about, I heard you say it, I didn't believe it could be true, but I guess it is. The first pro football game you ever saw was the Saints. One of the memories is you see getting ready to come out of that Saints tunnel is a guy with that old scraggly beard and hair out of the back of his helmet, Kenny Stabler. And that you said right then, you said, that's what I want to do one day.
The only game I ever saw until I suited up and played in one myself. The only game, I was 14 years old, and I sort of told a little bit of the story at the induction, but our dad had asked me and my older brother Scott if we wanted to go see a Saints game. Well, we were like, yeah, sure. I mean, I was tickled pink. We lived close to New Orleans, but we never went over there. Come to find out, the reason he took us was to get us out of the house so my mom could set up a surprise birthday party for Scott, which, you know, who cares? And that game was important because had the Saints won, they would have gone to the playoffs for the first time in history. And as you know, the Saints did not have much success before or after for quite a long time. So it was electric. And so and they were playing the Rams. I'll never forget Mike Lansford. You know, I remember that night as if it were yesterday. Mike Lansford, barefoot kicker, ended up kicking a field goal at the end of the game to beat the Saints and kick them out of what would be their first playoff appearance. But I remember sitting in the seats before and just thinking, man, this is really cool and big. You know, I'd driven by the Superdome many times, but never gone in. And all of a sudden, the crowd goes crazy. And I look, what's going on? And it turns out it was Kenny Stabler coming out of the tunnel. And I thought, you know, that's pretty cool. Like, I'd love to be that guy.
Who would have ever thought that, I guess 13 or 14 years later, that you'd be coming out of that tunnel against New England in the Super Bowl as the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers? That's kind of neat.
Yeah, you know, had I known that at 14, I could look around at people and say, I'll be here, you know, and they'd been, yeah, right, have another beer, son. You know, but, you know, and I thought about that. You know, every time I played in New Orleans, I always thought about that moment. I couldn't remember where we were sitting, but I just remember, you know, how captivated I was by that moment.